Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Ask that you kindly stand to salute the flag and then remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If I could kindly ask you to stand for a moment of silence for three people. Betty Ann McDonald, who is a former school crossing guard, former police officer Robert Brett, former firefighter Fred Blake, who was also very active in the Abington Lions Club and was instrumental in creating the Massachusetts Lions All-State Band, who recently just passed away. So if we could pause for a moment of silence. Thank you. We had, as everybody knows, the annual town election this past Saturday. We want to congratulate and welcome back Amanda, who was running unopposed, so she's now here for a full 3-year term. The first order of business after the election is the reorganization of the board. I'm going to ask the town manager to deal with both the election of the chairman and vice chairman, but do it separately. I will be stepping down as chairman. I do not wish to serve again. We'll pass it off to somebody else. So you can have all the fun that I had this past 15 months because I had to jump in the middle of it prior to. So with that, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, do I hear any nominations for the position of chairman?
I nominate Roger Woods.
I'll second that.
Do I hear any other nominations for the position of chairman? Do I hear any other nominations for the position of chairman? No other nominations? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Yeah, we didn't ask you to accept, the
We're
nomination.
going to make it unanimous despite what the record may show.
Yeah.
Okay, now I will accept nominations for vice chairman.
I will make a motion for Suzanne DeJustburg.
Do I hear any other nominations? Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, and do I hear any other nominations? Do I hear any other nominations? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Oh, by the way, you are the select board now.
Yes.
Yes.
Love it.
All right,
Love it.
musical chairs. Yeah.
Come on, move it.
You didn't have to move. There you go.
Right here.
This year.
Without the door the next year.
Thank you, everybody, for your support. I know there've been complaints about the meetings taking too long prior to me taking the chair, so
We'll see if we can speed it up.
we'll see if we can speed it up. We've taken care of reorganization. Next item on the agenda is Chief Bonnie to give us an update on the charter changes. Chief?
Thank you for having me. I'd like to thank everybody in the audience here today too for coming. I just wanted to come up and just say thank you to you all and the town manager and the residents of Abington for supporting us through this change. I haven't been able, the Ethics Commission, we reached out to the Ethics Commission to ask like how far we could take it in sort of explaining what our needs were as it related to this issue, and we were told it had to be kept fairly tight. So I just wanted to sort of explain to the town what this does for our department, and it basically really frees up our ability to hire new people and promote people. Under civil service law, they have a test annually for both hiring and for promotions. Under non-civil service rules, we can have a test every month. And so we'll never be in a position again if we lose people to retirement or lateral transfers or what have you. We'll never have to wait around anymore. And we anticipated this change, so we had a test. And, you know, we're now going to be able to bring us up to minimum staffing for the first time. We were 53% below minimum staffing. And now we're going to be able to have some relief for our officers. And more than anything else, I'd like to come here and just say thank you to the men and women of that department, because they have turned it into a destination where people want to go. My phone has rang. I've gotten emails for lateral transfers. The deputy chief tells me today that people want to, like, the Abington Police Department is really sort of a beacon of light for law enforcement and where people want to land and new officers want to come. And this is a group effort. It's not just the men and women of the department, but it's also the support from the town. And I just wanted to come here and say thank you and to just sort of let you know why we really needed that. And I'm very relieved it happened. So I'm just super proud of their effort. You know, they've got a long way to go because we got to hire and get people through the academy. So, but you know, I told the finance committee in the same room here a few months back that our people are kind of running on hope, and now that hope seems to be getting fulfilled, and I expect great things out of that group. So,
Thank you for allowing me to come and explain ourselves.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
have a great night. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is establishment of the Fiscal Advisory Committee and discussion on the date of the 2026 annual town meeting. I know in regard to town meeting, the Finance Committee had requested more time. In the years past, town meeting used to be beginning of May, and I don't know when exactly it got moved back, but considering the amount of work that goes into putting things together, I'd entertain a motion.
I think, yeah, for the first item, for this year, I would make a motion that we establish the annual town meeting for May 5th of 2026. So that allows the Finance Committee the opportunity to discuss and ruminate on what we have coming before us. And then, as you see, we have the establishment of the Fiscal Advisory Committee. It's going to be a tough year. This is no secret to anybody. We've been talking about this ad nauseum. So I do think, in fairness to the Finance Committee, they have requested additional time for this year, this coming year. I think it'll be prudent to do that. I'm not a big fan of people saying, well, let's wait till we see better figures. We're not going to get better figures at that time. But in this particular case, I think it goes more to the question of what cuts are going to have to be made, and they're going to need time to, to ruminate and do on that. So my motion is to establish the 2026 annual town meeting for next year only on Monday, the first Monday in May, which is May 4th, is it?
May 4th.
I'm sorry, May 4th. May 4th, 2026.
Okay.
Motion made by Kevin to move town meeting to May 4th, 2026. Is there a second or any discussion? Second?
So just with the annual town election being the Saturday, it would be April 25th prior. The town election shouldn't, also if it was held in May prior, that's how it was before, is you do the election and then basically the meeting right after.
Yeah, we can't change the election.
Yeah, no, it's kind of nice that they're actually both kind of within that 2-week
Yeah.
buffer or 2-week time of pay attention to your town government.
Well, can I?
We would like to think so.
You would think so, but instead of stretching it over an entire month, maybe.
Scott?
Well, I guess the question then that I would have is if, worst case scenario, we were to be proposing some sort of a debt exclusion or an override, we would want to have the opportunity to have town meeting prior to the election, to at least discuss it, present it, and
Well, I think if town, excuse me, 1 minute, allergies. What I would say to that is this, is that we have, I would envision, going by what has happened in the past, that there'd probably be 2 budgets proposed. One would be, say, option A, which would be inclusive of all the cuts needed to balance the budget. And option B would be to be inclusive of option A plus whatever amounts, if that's what town meeting votes, contingent upon a Proposition 2.5 override. So any discussion, if there is to be an override, would be done at town meeting, after which town meeting votes, the Board of Selectmen then that night can vote, and it has to be 4 members, it has to be at least 4 members according to the statute, vote to call a special election that evening. That's the way it's been done in the past, and I think, so the recommendations of the Board of Selectmen, Finance Committee, or whomever would, in my view, as I would envision it, there would be two proposals presented, so the people have an opportunity to see, okay, and I'm not going to say departments, but Department A, if you vote this, it means cuts of these many positions. If you vote B, the extra is contingent upon an override. If an override doesn't pass, then it reverts back to the original appropriation. That way, it's clean. Everybody understands what the cuts are. If it goes to the wider populace and they say no, it reverts back to the original sum, so you're not having to come back to town meeting to try and, do that all over again.
So that would be, I think what you're asking is because we would have just had the election, because it has to be voted on, we'd have to have a special election, but it would happen basically in end of June, like just before
Correct.
the fiscal year?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, we did that with like the fire station, like DPW, debt exclusion. We voted in April, had that special election later in the year. So we would just have to rush, like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's
It's tight, but
It's part of,
it
it's
can be
part of the
done.
process,
Yeah.
unfortunately. And that's assuming. I mean, we're just assuming. Town meeting could turn around and say, nope, we're gonna cut. And if that's the case, they cut. But if town meeting says, we want the opportunity to present further question on it, which is their right, and then, then that, it's structured in such a way to allow the people the opportunity to decide which way you want to go, if anything.
So motion for, did we already vote that?
No.
Okay,
No.
motion to move town meeting to May 4th,
2026.
2026.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
unanimous. Scott, you want to give us an update on the fiscal advisory committee?
So I guess this is probably, a lot of this was a committee that we had started prior to the last town meeting. And I think what we discovered and what we have just talked about going into the next town meeting in the next fiscal year, we're going to have some very difficult choices to make. And I think that it would be helpful to have a working group or an advisory committee to work alongside and in tandem with the selectmen and with the finance committee to help make these decisions and to see what these impacts are going to be, so we'll be better prepared to explain it to the public. So my recommendation, and I think I would like to see this committee made up of 2 members of the select board, 2 members of the finance committee, 2 members of the school committee, 2 at-large members, and they would be augmented by myself, the finance director, treasurer collector, superintendent of schools, and the business manager of the schools.
Can I make a motion that we establish the committee with the proviso that of the Board of Selectmen, the Finance Committee, and the School Committee, that those respective boards appoint their own membership, so whoever their representatives that they determine should be, and that we, as a board, would appoint the at-large members that you had mentioned. And then, if you want to do that, then I've got more comments as it relates to the selectmen.
Motion's made, do I have a second?
I'll
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous? Kevin?
Okay, as far as it relates to the Board of Selectmen, we can decide this tonight, really, if you want. How about you 2 guys?
I would like to be involved, so,
Yeah.
very much.
Where is it gonna be nights or?
It'll have to be nights.
Yeah.
Motion by Kevin to appoint Amanda and Paul,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Second.
seconded by Suzanne. All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous?
It feels awkward to nominate myself, so thank you.
Approval of the April 7th minutes?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the April 17th minutes?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Abstain.
Abstain.
Oh, we have two
They weren't
abstentions.
We were
Number
not.
5 is a request for the 4th Annual Abington Copes 5K Road Race and Walk, which is Sunday, September 21st.
Motion to approve?
Motion made by Kevin, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, great event, by the way, we went last year.
Chairman has to run in it, right?
Yeah, after he loses another 200 pounds. And then we have requests for appointment to the Ames Knoll Master Plan Advisory Committee. Motion to approve.
You make a motion?
The name? Saunders Soldier.
Yeah.
Second.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, sorry.
Unanimous. I'll entertain a motion
To adjourn?
to adjourn. Our next meeting will be June 12th.
What?
I mean,
No,
May 12th. I'm sorry.
I was like, that's the last day of
almost got
school, you're not
away
gonna
with
see me at all.
Really?
Sure. And it's, okay, I'm on.
Motion to adjourn, next meeting will be May 12th.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Have a good evening.